Hello, family.
Hello, everyone.
Good day to y'all, wherever you're listening from. This is Conversations with Cases. Your girl Aji here.
And it's a girl DK on your favorite screen and in your favorite ears.
And whatever you're doing, wherever you're listening us from, whatever you are, whatever day it is, time it is, we are very grateful to have you here listening to this conversation. Right now, we are going to dive in as soon as we can today because we have a guest here, as you can see.
Yes.
And but first of all, let's ask ourselves. Actually, we present our guest first.
Yes.
So please present yourself, and then we can dive in.
Hi everyone. Actually, I'm amazed how these wonderful and beautiful ladies are calling me guest, but I'm more of a family. Yeah. So I'm Emmanuel Oshefo Inketia Sefa. Yeah, so basically, I'm glad to be with you, ladies.
Yes, and very grateful.
Today, we have a financial expert here for us. So we're going to talk about money.
Yeah,
that's the tough topic nobody wants to deal with.
Yeah, no, something that I really have to deal with in my life. I think
it was time. It was about time because we need that.
Yeah.
And so, let's dive in, guys. How are you guys doing? How are you doing?
All good, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, I'm blessed and highly favored.
Amen.
I've already taken my line. I don't like that. That's my official status.
Oh, really? Because I've been listening that since I was a kid. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you were already spiritual back then.
No plagiarism.
Well, I learned it from the Bible. No plagiarism, indeed. Dee, how are you doing?
I am blessed and highly favored too. I am so well. God has blessed us with this beautiful, wonderful day. I'm ready to actually, learn about financial responsibility, as it's something that I really do need in my life. I like to spend.
Wow.
She does.
Yeah.
I can confirm.
It looks like you have enough to spend.
We'll dive there too. Too soon.
I should come to you.
What about you?
I am indeed blessed and highly favored. It's been a couple of interesting days. God is good, though, because God is always good. But it's been just tough season going through whatever. Life is what it is,
Yeah.
But God is great. God is awesome, and He's in control. So we trust Him. Yes. So without further ado, let's dive in. This conversation is gonna be so important for me because I need to learn a lot, and financial literacy is something that is not taught enough in our society. It's not taught in school, first and foremost, which is I don't understand that. Because that's what money is something that we literally have to deal with even when you're little.
Yeah.
And they don't teach us that. And so why is it important to speak about money? What do you think?
I believe that everyone needs to have a basic knowledge about finances. And growing up, we all do financial literacy. I would just simply term it as getting knowledge about your spending and how to manage, the basics of your finances.
Yes.
Because the knowledge of it should be practical. It should be part of your everyday life, because as long as we live, money has become a commodity that has become part of us. Just as the food just as the air that you breathe. You need air to survive. You need air to breathe to survive. The same way you need money. As we live in economy, you need money to also survive. So I believe that being knowledgeable about your financial situation and how to go about your finances is a very key thing that everyone needs to, get themselves involved.
Absolutely. We actually believe that. We strongly believe that is very, very true. And so, should we continue with our first thing? Have we confused looking rich with actually being financially stable? nowadays.
Looking rich and being
Yeah.
financial. I think I have to say this disclaimer that we are having a conversation, and even though the conversation is supposed to enlighten all of us, this is not a financial advice.
Okay,
So we
right.
need to set that straight.
Yeah.
It is our experiences
Absolutely.
and the knowledge that we've built in financial literacy is what we are discussing here. So if you want to engage in any further, please seek professional financial
advisors.
advice. All right. So you asked a question whether we've confused ourselves with
being rich or with actually being financially stable. It's a.
What do you say as far as being financially stable?
Yes, I think we actually are confusing, looking rich with being financially stable. You can see it every day. Everywhere you go, if you turn your head, you will see someone, wearing expensive things.
Yeah.
But are they financially stable? Have they, for example, I'm seeing someone driving an expensive car.
That one.
I'm seeing someone driving a BMW, the latest one, 2025.
Yeah.
But are you financially stable? Have you bought your house? What is the most important thing to you? Is it buying a car or buying a house for your, family, for, your family? So I personally think that, we are confused in life.
I will never be confused.
Amen. Amen.
Never.
Amen. Somebody says that rich people always go cool.
Yes.
And the poor rather make the rich richer.
Bam.
Yeah, the poor rather make the rich richer.
True
And it is very interesting how people want to look rich, but they are not financially stable. And I sometimes would also say that it is, everyone has got their own category, when it comes to dealing with finances, how they spend, how they manage money, the kind of income that they receive, and how they spend. So balancing it. Now, being financially stable is basically you being able to afford the basics of life. So your shelter, your clothing, your food, and then being able to take care of any dependent. So that is, legal dependent, like your children. So if you have, your money to be able to cater for all these basics, I believe that you should be stable. And being stable also means that you also are prepared for any unforeseen circumstances. So everyone would say that, okay, I have money to spend today, but what about tomorrow? There are some people who, in other parts of the world where they need to be paying stuff in advance, for example, rent in advance. I know some part of Africa, they have to be paying rent in advance, like 2 years.
Or 2 years.
Or 1 year.
It's not even
like
just
6
Africa.
months.
I think it's Korea as well. They
Yeah.
ask you like for a
whole
year to
year
2 years.
Yeah.
That's wild.
In this case, some people just wait until it's 1 month to the due date.
Yeah.
Then they start gathering money. You understand? Unlike here, for example, in UK, where rent is being paid on a monthly basis. So you know that when you have your income, you budget, and then you live according to that.
What your income
Even
is.
with that, people still default their rent payment.
I see that every day.
So when you find yourself in that position, you can't classify yourself as being financially stable. So I believe that you need to be financially stable before you can move into the category of being rich.
No, definitely.
So that is how I would differentiate between being financially stable and you being rich. Because being rich comes with a whole lot of stuff. You need to put things into consideration, the form of investment, your assets. And it doesn't matter the amount of debt that you hold, because rich people
have that
have debt as well. Everybody have debt, but your ability to manage your debt also puts you in a position where you can be classified as being stable or rich.
So that is even financial literacy. You know, what is, I think it should be one of the basics as well, because we usually think rich people don't have debt.
Yeah.
It's true.
Why would a rich person have debt? Like, is it even conceivable? But then, please actually explain further, because why do you say rich people have debt, but they actually are able to manage it properly? Because it's all about financial literacy at the end of the day.
Okay, I believe that debt is a part of your when, let me say, when you are preparing, let's say a company is preparing their balance sheets. Okay, that is, balance sheet is basically the financial position of the firm. So the same way you, the individual, if you are preparing your financial position, it comes, you hardly would a company that is thriving say that they do not have any debt component on their books. You get that?
So it's basically what is going out, or what is supposed to go out.
What is supposed to, what is supposed to go out and what is supposed to come in is just the income and expenditure.
Yeah.
But when you get the actual financial position is the outlook of your business. The outlook of your business is looking at your assets. Your assets is categorized into your liquid assets and then your unliquid asset. So the liquid asset is just like the cash that you can easily fall on. And there are other assets like the fixed assets that, like your building when you own it.
Okay.
And some people want to place their building in a category of liability because they want to manage their tax component. That is another side of it. But all that I'm saying is that rich people having debt in their financial position is a matter of choice. Now, they most of the times rely on debt to make money.
Okay.
I have money in my account.
Okay.
Yeah, but I prefer to use credit cards.
Okay.
Why do I prefer to use credit card? Because I want to be able to make use of the money. My money shouldn't be lying idle. I want to be able to fall on that income, the money that I have, okay, for any profitable investment. So I wouldn't want to use my money to engage in any stuff, but I can use I can rely on debt.
Okay.
Okay, to make money. I wouldn't want to use my personal money to make money. I would want to use your money to make money for myself.
Makes sense. So you're talking like if you're a bank right now.
You understand? And that is what the bank is doing. Now, what we are doing is that, okay, why would I want to fall on debt? Why would I want to fall on a credit card? Because there are special conditions that comes with credit. Okay, when you have a credit card or when you fall on debt and you are declared bankrupt, the financial regulation deals with it in a separate way, in a different way. So why would a rich man, okay, like me,
Amen.
Amen. want to use my money, okay, to venture into the business whilst I can get credit to do that, somebody's money to do that. Now, for example, I want to cite a very typical, example. When I gave birth to my second child, which is my daughter, before we did that, we were supposed to buy some stuff, baby stuff. I had the money in the account to be able to use to buy it.
Yeah.
But I preferred to use a credit card to buy it. Now, I used that credit card to buy it, not because I don't have the money to buy it, but I was also secure in myself. I wasn't very sure of the site that I was buying that item from. So I decided to use the credit card to buy because I am more secured using the credit card if I'm defrauded.
Man, that makes so much sense.
The moment I use my personal money,
it's gone.
Nobody's going to pay me back. But when I use the credit card, I am secured over there. So yes, indeed, I was defrauded, and I requested that my money is being paid to me because I have been defrauded and I used a credit card. Yes, they came back. They were still investigating, and at the end, I sanctioned Section 75. Section 75 of the financial regulation is that whatever it is, however, it doesn't matter what kind of contract or what kind of deal that I went through, the money, as long as it's a credit card, the money needs to be paid.
So you were refunded?
Yes, I was refunded the full amount of money. But imagine if I had used my personal money, I wouldn't have gotten my money
Lord,
back.
I've already learned something.
So that is part of the financial decisions that businessmen make. That is why it is part of their component. They rely on debts to make money. They rely on somebody's money to make money. But you should also know that your money shouldn't be lying idle. If your money is lying idle and is not bringing you any income, it means that you are not utilizing it because you are going to be paying interest on your debts, but you are not balancing it with any interest from your savings or investment.
Damn, we dived so deep already, guys. And this is just a revelation because I thought credit cards were just a scam, another trap,
It has its own cons.
Yeah, but you have to actually learn about this stuff.
You have to really learn about it and then be wise about using your credit card. Now, what my wife is also a finance person, so she loves to shop with credit cards.
Lovely.
Not because we can't afford it. We have the money laying in the bank, making sure that right at the end of the month, we clear every balance so that we don't incur any, additional cost on the buying that we did. So there are ways that you can use your credit card that will be beneficial to you. And there are ways that when you don't take care, you will get trapped into it and you can never come out, especially as youngsters as we are.
Yeah, but then, okay, so in your case, you have a lot of financial knowledge. But in the case of, let's say, me and my beloved sister here, we don't like to read a lot about finance. So when I get a credit card, let's say I would get a credit card just because I want to grow my credit score, and I never use it. It's just useless, isn't it?
Yeah. You having it, it's the beginning.
It's already something.
Okay, it's already something. You having it is reflecting it. But there should be a usage. There should be a percentage. There should be a percentage. You should be using, I think we'll be coming to that probably, but you should be using no more than 30% of your balance. You understand? So the moment you go beyond that, then it is going to be having negative impact on your score.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, on your score.
Yeah, on your score. It means that you are not financially disciplined.
Wait, so if you use more than 30% of what of the balance of the credit card, but then you say, so let's say you go over it, you go over 30%, and then you still pay like your balance is at the end of the month. It's it's cleared off. As you said.
So if your balance at the end of the month is
cleared off, that's
definitely
cool.
The score is reported on a monthly basis.
Okay, so it's gonna be a good thing for you.
Come back.
But then if you're not paying and clearing your balance every end of the month, that's gonna impact your credit score.
And not everybody can clear everything at the end of the month. You can go, let's say you can set yourself, now they are buy now, pay later.
Yeah.
They've got Klarna, they've got
in fact,
Clear Score.
Are they good stuff?
ClearPay,
I guess according to what you say, it's good stuff.
They are good depending on how you use it. If you don't allow it to overwhelm you.
Yeah.
You understand? Because I believe that somebody say that if you can't afford it, don't go for it.
Don't go for it. But then, okay. What you said earlier makes sense.
But I also believe that. It depends on your knowledge and how you want to use it. I would want to use a buy now, pay later. If I assess the item that I'm going to buy and I know that I can easily afford it, however, I'm just taking my time to pay. Now, this is what happens. I want to get this jar. And looking at the forex and how things are going, and the taxes that are and the tariffs on goods, I believe that today this jar is, let's say, £50. But in the next month, I believe that it's going to rise up to £55.
Okay. Okay.
I would want to get it now, knowing that I can pay, so that I wouldn't want to save
and then pay it later.
and pay £55.
Makes sense.
I'd rather want to get it now and pay within 3 months or within 2 months. I hope that makes sense.
That makes sense.
So you have it depends on where you are sitting and how you are looking at.
Actually, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense once you are, let's say, day-to-day expenses. You are assessing to buy clothing and you know they are on sale and you say, okay, let me just buy a bunch of it and then pay
on
slowly.
Sale.
Yeah.
On sale.
On sale.
On sale.
And then I'll pay later.
On sale.
On sale. Are you saying it like that?
You know, and the company never. Don't
come and disclaim this one too.
Why would a company be selling this iPad for £1,000 and they tell you that it's on sale for £200?
What's the actual price of it then?
What was the actual price of it?
So it's actually not on sale. It's just
so
nobody runs a business and go
negative. Well,
so they're selling this for like what, 1K?
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, in 3 days we're gonna everything is gonna go on sale.
Yeah.
And then we're selling this for 200.
£200.
That means that the value of the item was actually 200. Or
that means the cost price, the manufacturing costs
was less than what they were.
Was less than. Okay. And there are different indicatives when it comes to sales prices, because probably the first 1,000K they added goodwill, they added all staff overhead costs, and selling it for about a year or 6 months, they've been able to cater for their overhead costs, and now they are still enjoying their profit margin. So they decide that, okay, instead of us waiting to clear everything before we bring in new stock, then why don't we spread the profit margin amongst a whole lot of people? And so instead of we getting the profit from 1 or 2 people, you want to get the profit that we'll get from that item from, let's say, 200 people. And so when they bring it on sale, they can get that 200 people who don't need the item, but they'll
just come and grab it because of the brand, probably.
Because of the brand, because of the sales.
And yeah.
So I believe that sales are always to attract people who don't need the item.
Quantity, basically.
Majority of people who don't need the item.
But because it's called sales.
Yeah, because it's called sales. But they want the item.
That's psychology behind money as well. That's
there are different between needs and wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't need the item, but they want the item.
But they want the item.
Sales are for wants.
Interesting.
That's what I believe.
Yeah. Should we already dive in the bad habits of finances? As you are just like mentioning the psychology behind needs and wants, actually. Because people actually we have emotional spending nowadays.
And I think we have emotional spending. I think we have people who also spend to cure anxiety and depression.
Emotional spending.
Yeah, emotional spending.
And
true.
Yeah.
Why? Okay. I think
it's a problem, though.
It is a problem.
It is a problem.
And that is why I think the psychologists would be able to deal with those kind of stuff.
My
because,
God. But then there is a lot of psychology behind the way that we use money, right?
A lot of psychology. I'm not a psychologist, but I believe that understanding the way that I manage my finances, when we started with the financial literacy, I don't know how many people have budgets on a daily basis, because you spending without a budget
Sure.
is deadly.
Yeah.
Hi.
It's deadly, and that is why we have impulse buyers, impulse spendings, because if you have made provision for that, when I do my budget on a monthly basis, I make provision for miscellaneous expenses.
Okay, so
Yeah, so I wouldn't be so much pressured on my budget. So I make provision for miscellaneous expense and say that, okay, I didn't budget for this particular item or transaction, but let me give room for this particular thing, so that if I should meet some sales and I want to grab, I can easily grab it. It is falling within my budget, so I wouldn't classify it as indiscipline.
okay.
You understand? It's a want. I've made provision for it. If I don't spend that particular amount in the miscellaneous, category, it should be rolled over to the following month, or pushed back to my savings.
Makes sense.
It's true.
Because every individual needs a buffer. A buffer. No, the buffer is like emergency account, emergency savings. So financial experts usually say that the minimum emergency fund that you should have is 3 to 6 months of your
Rent.
of your monthly
Of your
expense.
monthly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not considering any wants, I mean the actual needs.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like
So
basic essentials.
Yeah, basic essentials. So your rent, things that you cannot do without your rent, your transportation to work, your food,
Basic.
anything essential. So 3 to 6 months of it,
Of that.
of that in your emergency fund.
I hear it.
So when you have that, then you know that any other you are still building up, or you are trying to find ways where you can invest to. But if you don't have that emergency fund, I don't think it is prudent to venture into investment, which I believe will come there later. But bad habit or good habit of spending is the basic should be on your budget. Have you budgeted for it? Have you budgeted for it? If you have not budgeted for it, it means that you have not classified it as part of your income, as part of your general expenses. Because if there is no money coming in, but you feel like you need to get this, that is why you can always go to a friend and say, can you lend me this amount of money to grab this thing? You know the reason why you are going for the money from your friend, but you are not being truthful to yourself. You are not being truthful to your friend. You know that you cannot pay the time that you have set for your friend. You are going to destroy the relationship. You are going to, because of your bad habit, it's going to cause a whole lot of things. So I believe that bad habit they are part of personal choices, which are bad choices.
Yeah.
Which are bad choices, and it leads us into situations that are very unbearable.
Yeah, sometimes it can become very, very bad. Yeah.
But can you give me some examples of bad habits of spending?
Bad habit to spend going on holiday
No.
without you having,
Okay.
the money for it.
Without you having.
The soft life lifestyle nowadays. Yeah, it's just something that I do not understand still, because people because of social media, clearly.
Social media.
Yeah.
Social
Media spending too. Oh my God, I discovered you can actually buy stuff on TikTok. I'm so old, guys. I do not have TikTok. And I didn't know people actually buy stuff from that. I would never buy stuff from TikTok.
It's a great. TikTok has become one of the marketing platforms.
Honestly.
That is really thriving.
It's really,
people are, having large businesses.
yeah.
I've heard about that, and I've heard about a lot of scams going on around that area as well.
Need to be careful.
Man, but with social media, we just want what the other person has, what they're wearing. It's all about, aesthetics nowadays.
Yeah.
As we were saying before, looking rich and not actually being financially able,
Yeah.
or being able to afford it in general.
Weddings.
Weddings, birthdays. Oh my, birthdays.
Oh, birthdays. For me, it's the renting out accommodations that are like over 1K to just celebrate a birthday.
Yeah.
Is it necessary? Because then
It's size.
it's not just about that, because then you have to also think about the decoration inside, the food that you're going to have to spend.
Yeah.
And then if something happens in the accommodation, you have to pay the cost of it. Like, you have to cover the cost of whatever.
Damages, whatever might happen.
In the first place, you cannot afford that accommodation yourself, but you decided to go and rent that place to celebrate yourself.
Yeah.
So why won't you put yourself in a position where you can afford it and own that place, so that when you are celebrating yourself and, hi guys, welcome to my home.
Well, that's another way of seeing things. I love that.
Yes.
I guess we're not there yet. You know, people are still living in their mom's homes.
Is it because they are living in their mom's home? They can afford to get that place.
They could,
but they decide to live in their mom's home. That is different.
I mean, let's actually.
Okay, you are living in your mom's.
Yeah,
you are living in your mom's home. Yeah.
In this
place
economy
that you want to rent for your birthday, is it the same as your mom's home?
Maybe in your mom's home you cannot really do anything because it's your mom's home, not your home.
but it's luxurious like the place that you're going to rent.
No,
probably not.
Or you are perching in a couch in your mom's home.
Well, you might have your room, and obviously it's your mom's home, so it's not accommodating your tastes. You know, it's not up to your standards of what you want to show people.
The interior design is
not it. The decor is not it. You know, the plants are not there.
So you tried putting your mom's home in a very nice
and it wasn't.
But your mom says that no.
Oh, it's not even that. It's
mommy is never going to object to it.
Mommy might object people coming over.
People coming over, I understand. But you know, I'm talking about the setting that you want for, not you need, that you want. The setting that you want for your birthday. Yeah. Wedding receptions, you need large, auditorium space to decorate and then, host your friends and family that is there. But even with that, is it because your home is small? Yeah? That is why you're going for that space. You can afford, definitely, because you cannot live in a 5,000 auditorium home, isn't it? So you definitely you definitely would want to go and rent a 5,000 seater auditorium for your wedding reception. Absolutely. Yeah, that is there. But I am saying that if you don't have the luxury to get yourself in that comfortable place in your home, then it wouldn't be wise. From my own perspective, it wouldn't be wise to spend that large, and then you come back again and come and lay on your single bed, positioned in the corner, such that your wardrobe can be in another corner, and you have your one mirror hung over there and your shoe rack.
That's very, very descriptive. Very accurate description of somebody's bedroom.
You get that? And but you went to rent a flat or an
just a hall location.
No, I'm talking. I'm even talking about the birthday
accommodation.
A proper house.
Yeah, that's what they do. They rent a house just so they can have their friends coming over, and sometimes they even have some people engaging in silly stuff in some of the bedrooms. That's the reason why they rented the whole accommodation.
Godly behavior.
in the rooms, and then the living room will be where the party is.
Right.
Why would you want? Why wouldn't you go and rent? Why wouldn't you go and rent a small, let's say,
Hall.
50-seater hall for that birthday, but you decided to go for an accommodation.
A real house, proper house.
Yeah.
Why?
Why you?
You that you're over there. Why?
Why?
What was the plan behind? What was the thoughts behind? Why don't you just get a hall? Keke.
You just say we are speaking nonsense and give your comment over there.
Please drop it down. That you decide to rent a whole accommodation for your birthday.
Yeah, tell her that we don't know what we're talking
Why
about.
do you need the rooms for?
God will judge you.
God will judge. Oh my. We are judging people. It is well. We love y'all still. But no. So talking about this stuff, people actually do this stuff.
Yeah,
and
so it's all about living within your means.
Yeah.
You being financial, see, this life, don't do what you cannot afford. If we talk about being financially stable, it is not about having huge, bank balances. It's about affording what you really need to survive.
But also, do you think that is caused by, what the income is? So what they're earning on a monthly basis from, the job.
Yeah.
I think that is affected by that, and hence why there are a lot of debts accumulating into the bank account, because obviously their income is not
enough to cover expenses.
Everything.
Yeah.
So do you think that is why a lot of people are in debt, and that is why maybe people are not able to afford their rents and cover the bills, cover the car costs?
Right. You know one thing that I've come to understand. I've realized that I don't know, in this part of the continent or the world, some part of Africa may be different, but in this part of the world, when the minimum wage is set, it is set based on a lot of indicators, knowing that you can afford something. Now, if the minimum wage has been pegged, let's say £12.87, and you don't have anything, you don't have any owings to the HMRC in terms of personal tax, it means that your tax code, the standard tax code, is 1257 which is 12,570. You are likely to earn now around 1,500, 1,600 minimum.
Yeah.
If you work for 37 hours or 37.5. Some people are even privileged to work 40 hours.
Oh, is that a privilege?
Yes. No. Because they want to work.
I mean, from my understanding, again, I'm old, guys.
Look at this.
That was the minimum that you worked usually until I came here in the UK, and I noticed people are actually doing 37 hours. I was like, what a luxury.
Wait, so how many hours were you expecting?
40 minimum.
40
from
minimum.
Where I come from.
You understand? Some people are working 50.
60.
But that is not.
That is illegal.
Yeah, that is illegal. That is illegal. You are doing it at your own expense.
Yeah, and your bank expense, because it's not coming in.
What I'm saying is that if you are earning 1,000, let's say 500 pounds, or 1,600, or 1,400, let's say minimum, you've set in the way that you should be able to afford the accommodation. What is the basic one room or shared accommodation? How much is it costing? So if you are earning 1,400 or 1,500, and you are not married, and you are not living with your parents, or you are not living with your friends that can share a whole house, a whole 2-bedroom, why would you go for a 2-bedroom house when you can have a shared accommodation and be paying £500 over there? You have 900 left to yourself. The £500, it includes your utilities. It means that you are not paying any utility. All you have to spend on is your food and some clothing, of which you are not buying clothing every month.
So wait, say that again.
You are not buying clothing every month because you are not naked every month.
That's true.
Wait. We'll come back to that.
Is it because you have weddings every month, so you have to buy new clothes every month?
Unfortunately,
you don't celebrate your birthday every month.
Unfortunately,
you have 10
our
friends.
people are not serious, so there's no weddings.
So what I'm saying is that the minimum wage has been pegged in a way that you can afford, and you can afford to live within that minimum wage.
Is it?
Even though we expect, depending on where you find yourself, and even with that, if it comes with choices, you're living in London with high standard of living, high cost of living, and you have a minimum wage with minimum hours to work. Wow. You have 37 hours to work, and you have minimum wage, and a room is costing, let's say, £800 for a shared room.
Even more than that.
Yeah, I'm giving an example. I'm citing an example. A room is costing £800 or £900 for a shared. Yeah, and you can live in outside London and be paying £400, but you still decide to live in London. It's your choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
You cannot blame anybody for that.
Nobody.
That is from my own perspective.
Absolutely.
So I believe that, as I said, the minimum wage has been pegged in a way that it can cater for your needs, even to the extent that you can get some of your wants being, taken care of. So when you look at it from that point of view, you realize that financial instability are sometimes choices. And when we become very disciplined, we wouldn't depend on people.
I was actually going to ask.
As long as we are working.
I was going to ask, in this economy we are living in right now, is it actually possible to live on a one salary, income? Is it possible? Because we have a lot of inflation. Things are like essential goods are very expensive. Even going to the supermarket, you're getting a few things. You're not even getting a whole, how do you call that? Carrello. Trolley. You're not getting a whole trolley. You're getting small baskets. And you get to the till and it's already £30, and you got like three things literally. So is it something that it's actually possible to live in, like having one income and the inflation we're living in right now? Is it possible?
Okay, I believe that everything is possible. I believe that everything is possible, because you should understand that very friend or sister that you're going to borrow money has also got their own needs.
Absolutely.
That you need to cater for. So the moment you become a dependent on that very person, it means that you have placed that person, that friend, that brother, that sister in a position where he or she cannot be financially stable, because she has to cater for you outside her budget based on your indiscipline. So I believe that if we all should, that is why it is important that we have these kind of discussions, so that it wouldn't be skewed to one part, where one category of people have that financial knowledge, spending wisely, living, a stable life, disciplined life. And because of the indiscipline of some people, they are becoming burdens onto them. And now we are shifting the burden. So, for example, you can criticize it, but I probably you would say that because God has blessed me with what I can afford. But I believe that the structure of sometimes, what I understand about the structure of the UK system, where they are trying to level income and bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. There is nothing like you being poor if you have a work to do. Now, the government and businesses are always advertising that there are shortage of workers.
Imagine.
But we still have people saying that
they're jobless.
They are jobless. Yes, because there is a difference between a job and a career.
Well,
yeah?
Yeah, please go there.
Career is one thing that you do with passion. Sometimes people get into career without earning much.
It's true.
Yeah?
It's true.
Just because they have the passion for it.
Okay, makes sense.
That is their career. But career is built upon because in the long run, they end up making more from that.
Okay.
In the interim, they may not be making more. So if you have not found yourself in your career, the kind of work you want to get engaged in, the kind of place that you want to be, let's say how you want to retire, you can always find a job to sustain you.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
You understand?
I hear it.
You can always find a job to sustain your income, to sustain you in terms of your spending, your needs. So until you get into your career, the field where you really want to be, and then still make money from there, why don't you find yourself something doing? And we end up, in a place where, comfortable place. I don't think I feel like that is not my standard. That kind of job is not my standard. But the person, your friend that you're going to, is working that in that odd hours, that cold, that warehouse or cleaning, and you feel that you are not up for cleaning, but you go to your friend who just returned from cleaning to borrow money or to borrow her shoe.
Family member, no friends.
Family member, let me say that. You understand? So this is one thing that if we are all able to position ourselves in a state where we work in financial discipline, I believe that each one of us can afford. Because no one will be dependent on anyone. And I believe that financial independence is something that we always need to preach. We always need to preach that. Try to be financially independent because you are living within your means.
Because it's possible, right?
It's possible to live within your means. What do you need? You need your shelter, you need your food, you need your clothing, and you need your means of movement. Yeah. Isn't it?
I mean, I think it's more of you need your shelter, food, commuting, and then clothes comes after. Because
you can go around naked.
You can go around naked. It's okay.
Just don't go to the places if you are making a move and it's not going to bring any profit to you. Don't make that move.
Don't do that. Don't do that. It's unnecessary.
Yeah. Yes, you are keeping the relationship. You are building a relationship. You need to check up on friends but if you're cool, that's why you are paying, let's say £20 a month. Someone has got, someone has got unlimited data on the phone, has got unlimited Wi-Fi access at home. Yeah. Also work. Even in the workplace where you are not supposed to be using phone, so you take that out. So in the workplace you're not supposed to be using phone. You have a Wi-Fi at home, but you still are paying £50 on a monthly basis for your phone. Unlimited data.
Unlimited.
And the telcos can sell you, let's say, 100 gig. Oh, they can say 100. Okay, this is what they can do. They can tell you, 12 gig for £10. Yeah?
They do
but
that.
100 gig for £15.
Make it make sense.
and you say you are going for 100. Oh wow, 100 gig. Just £5 difference. 100 gig.
We all do that.
Yeah, so I'm going for 100 gig. £5 difference. Oh, it's just £5 difference. And look at 12. The difference between 12 gig and 100 gig is so huge. I'm going to benefit. And you've done a cost benefit analysis. You know that I'm going to get more data at the end of the month. You're using 7 gig.
7 gig. It's true, man.
And you paid for 15 gig for 7 gig.
Oh my God. I stand rebuked.
Yeah. So these are petty stuff. We have a whole lot of subscriptions.
Oh my Lord.
Mention them.
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix.
Disney.
Yeah. Disney. Yeah.
Oh, Prime.
Amazon
Prime.
Hulu.
Sporty what?
Spotify. Amazon.
Apple Music.
Apple Music, Spotify.
Just one person is paying.
YouTube Music, because you don't want ads. That's so nice.
Sure.
Lovely to have. But
Isn't necessary.
the same music you're listening
On Spotify.
on Spotify. You are streaming. You are helping. You're
helping people to become more rich.
It's good. It's good. Help cases. Stream. Okay. Yeah, you need to stream.
Subscribe.
Click the button. You get it. But sit down and analyze. Okay, the same movie that you watch it. No, in the first place, after work, how long do you have to yourself after taking a nap or reading a book or spending time with your family? Now, how many time is left for you to prepare for the next day's job?
And you sit down and you watch Netflix.
Yeah, okay, you have Netflix, but you still have Amazon Prime for shopping for next day delivery, isn't it?
Obviously.
Okay.
Yo.
So if you have Amazon Prime for next day delivery,
And you have
why would you go for Netflix? Once you can watch the same movie, some movies, not all movies, but why you can get something to watch on Amazon Prime. Yeah? If I've got Amazon Prime and I'm paying for that subscription for next day delivery, I should benefit from the
Prime
movies
Video.
as well.
Prime Video.
Prime Videos. Yes, I cannot get all the movies because some of them are, you need to pay for it again. Which I don't know if you see the point.
Yeah, for real.
But
Make it make sense.
if I'm going for Prime, then I wouldn't go for Netflix. If I go for Netflix, then because I should plan my life in a way that, there are times where you need next day delivery. But if you plan well, you wouldn't require that. You can 3 days delivery will be okay to you.
Because I'm also deep in. There's Amazon Music.
Right.
So just add these subscriptions together. £5, £7. Yeah.
It's even more now.
Maybe you think it's today,
It's
so
like
a discount, isn't it?
$5.99.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always forget the 99.
Yeah, 99 will be like, oh, it's just 5. And you forget about the 99,
It accumulates.
So, okay, you have £7, you have Spotify, you have YouTube Music, and blah, blah. You add it together, let's say minimum of £20.
Natalie, trust me, it's more than that.
I'm saying minimum of that. And do you know something? Do you know that when you receive a pay rise at work, and your pay rise is, let's say, around 240 or 360 pounds, especially when because of the COVID, the government decided that we should be working from home, and HMRC were giving some rebate for working from home. So you could claim, I think you could claim around 360 or 240 pounds. That's trying to be corrected. So I claimed because I worked from home during the COVID, so I was able to claim. And I was so excited to receive that 240 pound compensation from HMRC just because I was working from home. But I asked myself, if I become more financially disciplined and I take out some expenses and I'm able to save £20 a month, do you know that it can still sum up to £240?
Absolutely.
And can I be happy for that?
Absolutely. Oh, a year, but it's free money, isn't it?
You understand? A year. So if HMRC gave you £240 and you were so excited that, HMRC, gave me some money, the fact that you receive some
free money,
some check from HMRC or some transaction, money coming to your bank account. Oh wow. But HMRC will get there. Someone will be like, oh, I received a tax refund.
We got so excited.
You didn't. Yes, the money wasn't free. It's your money.
Your money. They're giving back to you.
Why? It's just because you didn't
check.
You didn't check your tax code.
Oh, right.
You weren't monitoring your tax code. If you were monitoring your tax code,
you would have known
you would have corrected. You would have called to correct the tax code right from the beginning. That HMRC wouldn't be owing you.
So basically, when you change jobs, you're supposed to call HMRC to change your tax code, because from one employer to the other.
Yes.
Yeah, that's something we should do.
You file your self-assessment tax. Yeah. You should be able to do that. If you know you can't do that, myself, I work with. I'm a partner, consulting partner for Project Lead Global, where we help colleagues and everyone to file their tax. So whether you're a business or you are an individual and you want to file your tax, whether any form of business, whether it's partnership business, whether it's limited liability, whether it's self-employed, we do that. So if you need that, just contact us.
We'll put his contact in the details below. Yep. So yeah, you can contact our brother. But let's move on, actually. Let's move on. So I wanted to ask this, but you've already gone there. I wanted to ask, are installments a modern day trap? Like buy now, pay later. Is it wise? Because I've always thought about installments in a way like, it's a trap, it's a debt. Over there, I have to pay for it. I have to think about it. That's how I deal with that. I don't like that, okay? But what do you think about that? Is that something that affects you long term? Or is it something that actually is good for, let's say, your credit score?
It's good for your credit score. It depends on the platform that you're using. If that buy now, pay later is classified as a credit card.
Okay.
Yeah, because initially, for example, with Klarna, I've not checked though, but I don't think Klarna appears on your credit score.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, I don't know.
Because it's too easy to get it.
Some people, and sometimes I want to build my credit score, so
I'm Klarna. I'm going to Klarna.
Get a credit card where you go through that whole form of assessment and be able to obtain that.
Is it true that when you actually request for a credit card, they will do a credit check, obviously, and that will affect your credit score? Okay.
So it is the obtaining credit and your credit score is such a way that when you go for it from the beginning, it affects it negatively.
Okay.
Okay. But you are looking at the long term.
Okay.
It's affected the moment you go for it. It's affected because now you have an additional credit on your score. Okay. That is why it negatively impacts by some few points. But the moment you start utilizing it well, then it helps you to move from that state where you were negatively affected to a point where you build more of your score.
Okay.
You understand? So yeah, that is how it works. Flexible payment. As I said, I think early on, it depends on your knowledge in it.
Yeah.
And how psychologically prepared, let me say, and sometimes disciplined you are, because it's got its cons. If you don't take care, it will swamp you up. You will drown in it, because it helps you to get things that you cannot easily afford. And because you can't afford it, you should know that you went for it because you couldn't afford it. And there are other people who will go for it not because they can't afford it, but because they want to make use of the system.
Yeah, as you said before.
As I said before, I don't want to use my money to get it instantly, but I can use my credit card to buy it and spread it. And when I'm spreading it, sometimes I know that aside my emergency fund and the savings that I've got, I already have it in the account right from the beginning. So
Okay.
within that 3 months, the monthly deduction that will be going out, I already have it in that it's untouchable. I'm not going to touch it.
Okay.
So there is no way I'm going to default on that payment because I have a special account that is solely for bills.
Okay.
So that very account that is solely for bills, I've got that monthly installment also in there, linked to it. That every month the money is going to be going out. So there is no way I'm going to default on that. If you approach it in that way, you are good to go. You are building your score.
Okay.
But if you approach it in a way where you can't afford it, that is why you are going for the flexible payment. Mind you, you end up being swallowed by debt. And the more you default in the payment, the more it negatively affects you. So there are the pros and cons. There's a good side of it and then there's a bad side of it. But I believe that it depends on your discipline and how you financially or technically approach it.
So how can we improve our credit score?
You should know that credit score gives you a snapshot. It gives lenders a snapshot of your general financial activity and your financial position, your financial behavior
and habits.
So it is just coming to assess your financial behavior, your spending behavior, your borrowing behavior. That is what the score is about. Now, if you want to improve your score, definitely number one, you need to be on the electoral register.
Electoral register?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
To vote, isn't it?
Oh, even though you're not like a citizen that can vote?
Yeah.
You can still?
You can still, as long as as long as you are a resident.
Yeah.
Oh.
A resident.
Bam.
Your name needs to be on the electoral roll.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, because the register is a public, document that indicates that you live in a particular area.
Okay.
Lenders, there are different, approaches. When lenders are coming for their money, they write to you.
Oh yeah.
They write to you. They write to this particular address. When you still default, CCJ comes in, which is court comes in, and then the bailiffs will also
come to you.
No,
the bailiffs. They say, come.
Okay, so bailiffs will come to you. So if you are not on the electoral roll, the lenders are not really sure of where you reside.
Also, it's just to facilitate them finding you.
Yeah. So everything that is why it comes to build your score, because you are trustworthy.
Okay, so we can find you.
We can find you. Yeah. So you need to be on the electoral register. Your name needs to be on the electoral roll.
Makes sense.
And you need the system has been built in a way that you need to live on debt to be recognized.
That's my problem. Isn't that a modern time slavery?
Modern time slavery. I have friends and colleagues who would want to pay for their car insurance outright. They want to buy their phones outright. They want to buy their cars outright. They want to do everything. Their policy is that if I cannot afford to purchase that particular thing, I'll rather save to afford.
Oh, okay, that mentality. Okay. Yeah. And then you have those ones who are just rich and want to use the system.
And we have those ones that are rich, but I'm never going to use my money, even though I can afford.
And that is a mindset, right?
That is a mindset.
And then we have those that cannot afford it.
I bet to differ with those that are saying, I want to save to afford. I believe they've assessed themselves. They know their, approach or relationship with money and spending. So they wouldn't want to find themselves in a position where they go grab the stuff and they are not able to, pay. So they'll rather save to get that item.
Yeah, to be secure, to be safe.
So, for example, if my thing is, okay, what if you want to get this particular tablet. However, I don't want to advertise for anybody, so you want to get this particular tablet, and every month or every 6 months the price keeps increasing. I'm just using that as an example because it depreciates and rather the price decreases. So let's say the price keeps increasing and you are saving to buy. You are not receiving any salary increment. The salary increment that you're receiving sometimes is 2% or 4% increment. But you have to assess also the cost increment in that particular item. If the cost increment in that particular item is, let's say, 10% or 6%, but your salary increment is 4% or 2%, you can be saving, but you will never get to buy it. That is why sometimes the system gives you the opportunity to grab it
and then pay.
So you have 3 months free interest payment. Discipline yourself and make sure that you are paying it within 3 months so that you don't pay any interest on it.
Makes sense.
Sometimes you can even have 12 months or 24 months free interest.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I got this phone, my Samsung phone. I didn't buy it outright. I got it, but I didn't pay interest on it. So the same costs that it was going for, the selling price that it was going for, by buying it outright, was the same amount that was spread within 24 months. So I said, instead of taking 1,600 to go and buy it outright, I'd rather use that 1,600 for another thing, because I know I can afford it, and spread that same thing without paying interest in that 24 months. That was my decision, and that helped me financially. You may not be able to do that because the moment you get it, 1 month, 2 months, you pay,
and you forget.
You're not able to pay. You don't even monitor your monthly payments and make sure that you are not defaulting. People are running into overdrafts.
My God.
People are running into overdrafts because sometimes not because they don't have the money, but they don't have the money in that particular account.
They don't monitor it.
If you don't have the money in that particular bank account, you run into overdraft. So you need to be monitoring it and make sure that, okay, I am pushing the money into that particular bank account to be able to cater for that. Building your credit score, you have your electoral role, you are financially disciplined, you avoid too much searches within a short space. If you go, let's say you want a facility and you applied one and you are rejected, stop.
Assess.
If you were rejected, it means that if you go to the other side, you'll be rejected. That is, unless you want to go to another lender who is going to give you extremely high interest rate. The average interest rate, let's say if it's 7% or 9%, who rejects you, when you go to another lender who is also going to be offering you that same rate, is going to reject you. The only one that will accept you is the one that is going to be giving you 40%.
So that you can pay more of it.
So avoid too much searches. Do not go in and be applying when you are rejected. Just stop. Wait until after 6 months. It means that you've built up yourself again. Your financial position is great and you can still apply. The moment you keep on searching, it affects your credit score.
Okay.
Just get a credit card. But be disciplined with it. The credit card should be just something not for buying a huge stuff that you cannot afford to pay. Mind you, the motive is building your score. Not taking advantage of the system. The rich man has got 100K credit card. And he or she is using it very wisely at the expense of the business. And he see, that rich man is treating the interest that he's paying on the credit card as an expense in his business.
That is so true.
So instead of paying taxes, the interest is an expense, so it will reduce the tax. You don't have that privilege.
Nope.
So do not go in for a huge balance credit card that you will go and purchase that particular item that wasn't a real necessity, but it will end up crippling you. So go in for the basic credit card, £500 credit card, £200 credit card for the start. Go for your grocery shopping with that.
Even petrol.
Your £30, your £60. At the end of the month, you can say, okay, £120 is the balance. You can afford that because you are being paid 1,500, so you can afford to clear the balance. You understand? So if you want to keep that 30% and your balance on the credit card, your balance on the credit card too shouldn't be as low as 5% or 2%. It means that you are not using the card wisely as well. So it should be a bit of average. That is why you shouldn't go beyond the 30%. You can be around 30, 25, 30% of that. But make sure that you are servicing it. Now, the other thing that affects the credit card is your ability to keep up to payment.
All right.
Yeah, do not miss. The moment you miss payments, mind you,
just ruins it.
Yes, do not miss payment. Make it a point not to miss payment. I believe that if you have these 3 basic ones, you'll be building up your score.
Okay, makes sense. It does make sense. So
if you know other means where you can also continue to build our score, just put it down there in the comment section.
Drop it down for us,
I believe that you all learn from each other.
Absolutely, thank you.
So this is it for today's episode. I hope that you guys were able to actually learn, about financial independence, about, building up your credit score, and, be just responsible in life, because that's what we need, I would like to just thank our dear lovely brother for being here today.
Yeah, I believe that financial discipline should be part of our everyday life. And that is why we cannot have just a single episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes, or talking on finances, talking about how you should live your life and be disciplined in your finances. Yeah, because it is part of our everyday life. Absolutely. So the rest depend on you.
Yeah.
Make positive choices, make good choices, wise choices. Just be financially disciplined and read more.
Absolutely.
Read more.
Do you have any books that you want to suggest to our... One book. Atomic Habits is still good for everything, to be honest.
Atomic Habits.
So you know what? As for me, what I would say is everybody should just read when you have a contract in your hand. Read at least 30% of it.
Yeah, you know,
50%
you are not.
of it.
You know that you are not taught how to manage your finances
Absolutely.
in school. How to prepare self-assessment, you are not taught. How to monitor your tax code, you are not taught. So it is our everyday life. Just be knowledgeable. Ask questions. Ask questions, and before you try anything, just test it. Do not get yourself into it too much. Okay. We've got savings and investment. Some people always ask for the kind of investment, the kind of good investment that I can. Everyone and their risk appetite. So your risk appetite determines the kind of investment that you find yourself. So there is no perfect investment platform for everyone. Everyone has got their own category. So it is our everyday life. Finance is our everyday life. I think there's one book, Rich Man Poor Dad.
That one is a good one. Absolutely.
So you find yourself in a position where you wouldn't be a dependent on your family.
Yeah, that's not nice.
Financial freedom.
Yes. That's what we're promoting. Yes, that's what we're promoting today. So it was a pleasure having you today as well. Thank you for tuning in, and do not forget to subscribe and like and comment, please. And as for today, that's it. Shalom, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.